Hello, welcome to the formation training tips to build success. This is Alessandro Baronti, and I developed this formation training to really help you to gain some knowledge on how to overcome a specific objection. You can be new to the business or you can be already in the business. It doesn't really matter. I think there is opportunity for all of us to grow and develop. And this is something that I want to share with you, experience that I gained based on my personal experience in sales and also by observing many sales consultants throughout my journey in the optical industry. So what I actually did, I copy and paste the best practices from sales consultant in the field, and I felt compelled to share with all of you. So let's start this learning journey together. The first topic that I want to share with all of you is how to make accounts your own. What are some of the things that you can actually do to actually be able to gain trust with your customers base? So let's go through this video clip training together.
I like to take personal accountability of the boards. When I go into an office, I feel that I have ownership of those boards. I embrace different techniques to be able to maximize that. One of which is visual merchandise. Knowing that when patients or consumers walk into an office, they have a tendency to walk and go into the right and start to shop the dispensary through the right. I like to identify the best real estate in that particular office, and I talk to the buyer in having the opportunity to have that. I offer to the buyer a re-merchandising of the location. I always want to make sure that the product that I am selling to my accounts is the right product for them. This is not about me, it's about sell-through of the right product for the office. So I like to ask probing questions to understand the marketplace. I like to read the board by seeing what they're buying and how they're buying, so my product can be positioned in the right way. I also like to focus on the best sellers. The company is providing us with the tools of knowing exactly which one are the 20 best sellers nationwide. That's a great indication of a product that we want to have in every single account. The second point is make sure that the buyer and everybody involved in the sales transaction in the office are completely comfortable and knowledgeable about the product. If they understand the product, if they understand the benefit and the feature and benefit of the product, they're going to reach for the product. If they're afraid of the price point, if they do not really understand the positioning of that particular brand or designer in their marketplace, they're going to shy away from the product and go sell or go promote something else in the office. See, a long time ago, I understood that going into an office and selling frames is not about the frames. It's about the service and the level of comfort of the buyer when they look at that particular frame. So when Susie or Mary are looking at the board and they look at the frame, they don't really see a frame, but they really see myself, they see the company, they see the level of service that I provide to them. So to make sure that they feel comfortable with that, I like to increase the level of service that I provide to the account. I like to see them as often as possible in between cycles. I like to take every opportunity to give them the call as a follow-up, trunk show or trade event or open a house, whatever way you want to call it. It is a way to be in contact with the buyer, with the office. It is a way to learn about their needs. It is a way also to learn about their customers and to be able to be more effective at the present time and in the future on how to sell in, so we can maximize the sell-through of the product.
Okay, so we covered several important points in this first segment, and let's go a little bit deeper now. So we learn about the importance of really making a first impression. We learn the importance of positioning the product in the right place with visual merchandising. We really learn the importance of positioning the right product, leveraging on ideal assortment in inventory. And we also learn about taking the time to train the staff on understanding the product so they actually can position the product to their consumers in an effective way. This segment, Stop Dumping on the First Visit, is specifically designed for those of you that are new to the business. And one thing you're going to see as you're going to see customers for the first time, customers are going to have the tendency to try to send back a product that they bought from the previous rep. And it's not necessarily the right thing to do because that represents a cost, that represent not necessarily the best move. It can actually compromise their benefit in reference to specific program that we have ongoing for the customer. So let's learn on how we can actually overcome this specific objection.
Now you're brand new and you have no credibility into the account, so they're going to try to take advantage of the situation. So we have to kind of settle down, relax for a second, start to build that report, start to ask the probing question, make sure that that you're prepared for the call, make sure that you are a professional. And if you cannot build the credibility, it will be hard for you to avoid the dumping. But all of a sudden, if the account feels that you know what you're doing, you know your product line, you know your best sellers, you know what is good and what is wrong, and all of a sudden the confidence level will go up and you will be able to turn the situation around from a negative into a positive. Now we're in the account. The box is there on the table. And the buyer is releasing all of his responsibility to us by saying, this is the product that I want to go back. Now it is the right time to start to ask for some probing question. Is this everything that you got? Is anything else on the board? Would you mind if I can take a full inventory of all of your product? Would you mind if I look at your inventory on the board to understand what kind of product I can suggest in exchange for this product that is going back? Start to build some report with your account. Understand what they're thinking by asking them more questions.
Okay.
Now we're going to talk about discontinued product. What is this really means? Let's explore this opportunity together.
Discontinued. I personally stopped using that word years ago because it is associated with negative. And so I walk away from the terminology. And let's think about it. And the philosophy of us as a salesperson when we go into an account is to make sure that we do our job. We see these frames that are labeled as discontinued, and all of a sudden we think that, oh my gosh, we got to pull them out of there. You know, I'm not doing my job if I'm not pulling out these frames from the board. Are we really doing our job if we pull these frames out of the board and all of a sudden we create cost and loss of profit for our accounts? Let's think about that. This frame is in your sample bag today. You're going to an account tomorrow. That frame is current. Next week, that frame is out of your sample bag. All of a sudden, that frame is discontinued. So no matter how good you are or how good you try, you will never be able to keep up with this. The industry is changing. The lifetime of the frames is changing. It is not like 5 or 10 years ago anymore. The fashion cycles are much faster. We cannot keep up anymore in keeping this account board clean, so to speak. Okay, so our best job is to make sure that we do whatever we can to make sure that we create value behind any single frame in the office. So my personal experience, the discontinued word is gone from my vocabulary. What I like to use is out of production. What that means is that, Susie, this frame is not discontinued, it's just out of production. We actually probably have stock of this frame as much as we have of a current frame that I have in my sample bag. Auto production is actually spinning this process into a positive. Let's think about it. Discontinued, what does that really mean? That means that all of a sudden we have a label on the frame. It becomes a rotten product, a smelly product. It's not good anymore. Don't eat it, you're gonna get sick. Don't wear it, it's gonna give you some kind of allergy reaction. We're in the fashion industry. Why putting this type of label on our product? Auto production, now it becomes one of a kind. If you're in the fashion industry, all of a sudden you have something that only a few other people are going to be able to wear. All of a sudden it is special, it is unique. I understand the psychology of the process, and what we think is that we think that we have a responsibility to keep these boards clean, to make sure that our accounts will not incur into a problem with replacement parts or warranty issue or whatever the situation is. The bottom line is that our industry is changing. Our industry is strongly affected by fashion cycles. And the time span of a life expectancy of a frame is not like it used to be years ago. It is much shorter than that. Think about that. Think on how often are the patients coming back shopping in the same stores again. Think about the fact that no matter if a frame is discontinued or in collection or out of production or whatever terminology you want to use, what is the chance of a frame that you're selling today to be able for us or for any other company as manufacturer to provide parts or support 2 years or 3 years from now? So at this point, the name of the game is a little bit different. It's not about discontinue. It is not about this or that. It's about trying to do the right thing. We provide support for every frame that we sell. And no matter if it is discontinued or not, as long as we have parts available, we provide parts. And if we don't, we provide full credit for the frame that is going back.
Okay, so let's learn on how returns actually can hurt our account base.
If we can lower our return rate as a rep, all of a sudden we're lowering the return rate of our account. That means extra profitability, not only for us, but most important for our accounts. It is important to give a visual to account what is that means, what is the cost, what is the real cost of taking these frames back, okay? Let's link this concept to all of our benefit, our annual incentive program, and different promotion that we have on the table. Let's do a quick math by showing to accounts of how many frames they send back so far year to date, and how much money are they spending in doing that. What is the real cost of sending these frames back? What are they really missing? We have tools that we can use for that. We have promotion, we have an annual program that is linked to return rate. There is cost involved in sending these frames back.
I hope you enjoyed this segment. Before we close, I want to talk about cost and I want to talk about benefit. Cost. The AOA conducted a study and they determined that a customer that is sending back a frame is incurring a cost of $15 in the process of shipping and handling of that specific frame, with all of the different processes involved in between. So if your customer is sending back 100 frames, they're actually spending about $1,500 in cost to do so. So I really want you to think about that and actually present that dilemma to your customers before taking frames back. In terms of cost, there is also a cost involved in what the customers can lose by sending these frames back. I'll give you an example. If the return rate of an annual program is 15% and the customer is actually losing an annual program because of return rate, let's say that the value of the rebate is $3,000, and let's say that the average price point of the frame that they're buying from you is $75, that equals to 40 units. So if you're faced with a dilemma of taking 40 units back, that is actually going to hurt your customers' bottom line by precluding them from making the program, make sure you explain to them that, hey, look, you are on target to receive 40 free frames if we keep the return rate under a certain level. So it doesn't make any sense for me to take these frames back, and I want to make sure that you have a full understanding on that concept. I hope this helps, and I hope that these tips are going to help you with your journey for success. And thank you very much. Bye bye.